Hey, True Believers. Chris Mack coming at you today with Blackest Nights, Issue 6. And the plot begins to thicken as the war on Earth continues to rise. At this point, the Black Lantern power battery has arisen in Coast City. And at the end of the last issue, again, spoilers are going to abound so that the story makes sense. So if you don't want things to be spoiled, pause this video, go to your local comic shop and grab the series, read it, and come back. And you're back. So at this point, all of the different lanterns of the emotional spectrum are here on Earth trying to destroy the Black Lanterns. And what happens is Necron has finally arisen as the Black Lantern power battery is fully charged, all of the rings. And Necron has explained that he's allowed all these characters from decades of DC lore that have died to return was by his hand. So now, instead of allowing them to live, he has accepted them into his core. We have Superman because of the death of Doomsday, etc., so forth. And the ones that the Black Lanterns are now trying to get a hold of is Hal Jordan and Barry Allen. And they are doing everything within their willpower to not fall into the same fate that Ollie and Diana and Clark have. And then Ollie speaks to Hal. He goes, Necron gave us a stay of execution, buddy, but our time is up. No more fighting over scraps of existence like we do. No more good guys. No more bad guys. And then I appreciate that Johns kind of gives you a rundown on what's happened to most of them. He goes, Ollie died in a plane explosion, brought back to life when I was Parallax. Wonder Woman was slaughtered by a demon, but she escaped Hades and found life again. Superman fell at the hands of Doomsday and then was revived by Kryptonian technology. When Barry returned a few weeks ago, I started to think death and resurrection were only a part of the job. Now, before we go any further, Blackest Nights issue 5. This is Jeff Johns writing, Ivan Reyes doing the penciling, Claire Albert and Joe Prado doing inks, Alex Sinclair colors, Nick Napolitano doing the lettering, and then there's everyone else working on all the different various parts of the book. Now, here's the thing that's happening. Sinestro says, I've started the fire burning, Jordan, but a Green Lantern is the only one capable of the kill shot. I like how Lara Flees is like, I want kill shot too. Finish Superman off before he kills someone else, namely you. No, Superman's not dead, Sinestro. If you're intent on keeping your ring holster, we might as well lay down and die. Contrary to Indigo's bright idea, we don't have the power to destroy the Black Lantern. But because Barry and Hal are kind of really hard-headed in that sense, they know that there's another way. So they team up. Barry breaks the time barrier to try to find a way. And what happens is he brings them 2 seconds into the past and he explains what happened to us is when we saw Necron bring Bruce back last issue and spew all those black rings, it created a massive emotional resonance in us, which allowed for Necron to latch the rings on to all of us that were revived. So he says if we go back to this point, we should be able to not have that same effect and the rings should not be able to chase us anymore. And then from the follow-up story from Green Lantern 49, Mira and Ray are still inside the Black Lantern ring. We don't know whose it is, but we know that Ray's dead wife, and I can never remember her name off the top of my head. Janie? God, I can never remember her name off the top of my head. Yeah, I don't know. Help me remember. But anyway, it takes a certain character possessing her, which is Deadman, to get out of here. He goes, I can't stay in this bag of bones any longer, but you've got to get out of here and warn them. I can hear their directive like a whisper. Every Black Lantern in the universe. Every one of them. And then we see the Black Lantern go, get out of me, Boston. Jean, that was her name. Jean brought us here, Adam. But do you need her to take us out? No. Good. And just rips the tongue out. And as we escape the ring, well, here's the follow-up to last issue. We see John bringing the whole swarm of Xanshi with him to Earth, and just, you can feel the insanity happening in this issue. When they exit the ring, they find out that it's Diana's, and Ray says something to the degree of, this ring wasn't working like Carter's was. I keep seeing flickers coming in and out of it. And then I love this where Mira says, I'm going to hold on to Diana. And she says, you think you can have the strength to face me, Mira? To tell you the truth, princess, I always wanted to find out. And so through Diana's point of view, we see rage. Now, another thing I want to point out real quick before we go any further. I can't remember if it was Blackest Nights issue 1 or 0, but we see Scarecrow walking through the streets of Gotham. Everyone's running in terror from his fear gas, and he's talking about how his fear gas doesn't bother him and that he's not afraid of anything. And since the Batman's passed, there's nothing to motivate him anymore. Now, keep that in mind as Ganthet agrees with Hal that just this little set of teammates is not enough to destroy this threat that's coming down on the Earth. So Ganthet says, your ring has been able to replicate itself before in times of great need, and it will again. And so we see Ganthet don a Green Lantern ring, and he goes, I am Ganthet of Oa. I welcome myself to the Green Lantern Corps. We can double our efforts to halt Necron until the others arrive. Because just them with one Green Lantern ring is not enough to destroy the central power battery. Now, real quick, this kind of really pissed me off when I was reading this book. Does anyone else have this trouble where it just seems like a book, even though the staples are fully intact, there's always that one page that falls out? Now, let me ask some of you longer comic book readers. Do y'all have any suggestions? Should I just pry these staples open and try to get the page back in, or should I get this restored by a professional? Let me know. That was just some frustrating shit when I got this book. Anyway, Ganthet tells the other Corps members that all of their rings are based on Owen technology and that they can be shared. And Atrocitus goes, you don't control our rings. Nor do I wish to, Atrocitus. But as my last act as a Guardian, I've already triggered the process. So he makes all of the rings replicate. And so we see, Barry Allen, you have the ability to instill great hope. And then Larfleeze, oh no you don't, get back here. I don't share with anyone. And so at this point, remember, Luthor has locked himself in a, a bunker, because of all the people he's killed. He knows that he's going to have a lot of enemies coming for him. And even before his own father can take his son's life, it says, Great Lex Luthor of Earth, you want it all. Mine. Now going back to the Scarecrow, you see all of his victims terrifying, and Jonathan Crane's like, what do you see? What is my delicious fear gas shown you? And he starts to douse himself in it. He goes, and why won't it show me? I want to feel it too. But not even the undead can frighten me. I need him. I need to be hunted by the Batman. But before he can finish his musings, Jonathan Crane, you have the ability to instill great fear. Welcome to the Sinestro Corps. And while all that's happening, the best part is after Ray Palmer gets the Indigo Tribe ring, we see the Star Sapphire say, Diana, Prince of Earth, you have great love in your heart. Mira of Earth, you have great rage in your heart. Mira gets accepted into the Red Lantern Corps, but because Diana has the black ring, she goes, stay away. And everyone's not understanding what's going on. She goes, what is it, Carol? I can feel the ring searching. It's having trouble. The ring can't take her. She needs to accept it of her free will. The light is bursting inside of her hell. She's beyond anyone else. There is no one on this planet who loves it more than Wonder Woman. And because of her love, compassion, selflessness, she's able to free herself of the Black Lantern, and it goes, Diana Prince, welcome to the Star Sapphires. And so, as we conclude with the book, I love how Barry Allen comes running in going, don't worry, Hal, all will be well. Now, it feels a little Deus Ex Machina for all the different characters of the DC Universe to wield power rings, but because of what it stands for and the way that Johns is able to really latch onto every characteristic of every character that gets a ring, it makes sense, and it just hits you right in the feels. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever it is like to get your comics and action figures, and grab this series. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little Guardian bell next to subscribe, that was where you can upload content. You guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I will make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.